Welcome back to Grade 7 Science, Unit number 3, Thermal Energy and Heat Technology. This is lesson number 7.3, More About Energy. How are thermal energy and temperature related? This is an important question which we have begun to look at in this chapter. Now I'll put the video on pause just to take a closer look at this diagram. There's a reason for these arrows. They're all referring to the motion of particles and movement of heat. All right, let's proceed. Think back to the particle theory. The particle theory states that all particles are in motion. Motion is a sign of kinetic energy, or the energy of moving objects. Faster motion means more energy. When we create faster motion, we actually generate more heat. So by putting these ideas together, we can say that thermal energy is the energy generated by the movement or vibration of particles. In other words, the more we heat something up, the more thermal energy we create. So here's a practical example looking at the increase and decrease of kinetic energy. You have a person riding up a hill, so that's an energy input. But at the top, you've got potential energy, and they're going down, the energy is being output. So the question is, as the bike goes down the hill, what happens to the amount of thermal energy being increased? Put the video on pause so that you can jot down your answer. And I am not going to reveal the answer here. We'll share our responses in tomorrow's class. Scientists can therefore use thermometers to calculate not only the temperature, but also the changes in thermal energy. The technology is so precise that scientists can calculate changes in thermal energy of things that are too small for us to see. We've actually been using these lately at school, but you can use thermometer guns like these at the Interior Science Center to measure the differences in thermal energy between different objects. So these do more than the thermometer guns that we've been using at school. We tend to talk about energy as if it is something which we can see or touch. We can see the effects of energy, but energy is not a substance that we can hold. Energy is a quality or condition that gives something the ability to move, do work, or cause changes. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transformed from one type of energy to another, or passed from one object to another. I do think it is time for a fun aside. In the classic DC comic book series Firestorm, fans were angry when the original Firestorm, Ronnie Raymond, died in an explosion. But Ronnie did not die because he was made of pure energy. Ronnie was able to pass his Firestorm energy to a college student named Jason Rush. But that's another story, and maybe I'll test you guys to see if you were listening to this part of the video and you can tell me about the two firestorms. Anyways, when we use machines that burn fuel, we warm the atmosphere. Thermal energy created by heating systems, air conditioners, microwaves, etc., escapes through cracks in the walls of a building and enters the atmosphere. This may sound great, but it isn't. This accidental warming of the atmosphere is known as thermal pollution. Thermal pollution can actually damage ecosystems, as the warming of the air and bodies of water can harm and kill various species. A neat way for companies to cut down on thermal pollution is known as cogeneration. Cogeneration is a method of conserving energy by which waste heat or energy from one industry is used by another industry. For example, cooling water from a power plant can be used to warm a nearby greenhouse. When I'm finished speaking, you might want to put the video on pause so you can get a closer look at this diagram, in which we can see that cogeneration is being used to supply power for several buildings. Alright, folks, let's wrap things up here. Just a fill in the blank activity that I want you to try at home. So when I'm finished speaking, you're going to put the video on pause, read each sentence, and write down the missing word or words that you feel belong in the spaces. If you're not ready to take on this challenge, it means you need to go back, watch the video at least one more time, and then when you're ready, put the video on pause. All right, and I look forward to hearing your responses to these questions, as well as the other challenge which I posted on the video. But until we meet again, this concludes today's video.